Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or should I say Eid Mubarak for those of you that are celebrating. For those of you that are not celebrating, I hope you just enjoy this makeup tutorial that I've put together today. So I really wanted to do a full glam Eid makeup look for spring, as Eid falls in the season of spring this year round. The weather's beautiful and sunny. I really wanted to create something pink and fun, be subtle with colours, but yet at the same time be super glam. So I've literally done things like overly contoured my face, applied way more makeup and powders and things that I normally would do, but it's all fun and games in terms of when it comes to Eid and just enjoying yourself after a month of fasting. So I am wearing a traditional outfit right now. I've got my bracelets on, got my matching Southall jewellery on, and yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hope you guys enjoy it. I know you've been asking me for ages to do a full face of makeup, so I have finally done that for you guys today, and I hope that you guys really enjoy it, and I'll see you all in the video. Bye. So first off is obviously the base, and I'm going to be using the Kat Von D Good Apple Serum Foundation. A little bit goes such a long way, you guys. I applied the tiniest little blob, and that little blob is literally going to cover the entire one half of my face. This is an amazing non-transferable long wearing full coverage foundation, great for Eid parties, etc. So I'm just using a NYX buffing brush to buff it into my face, making sure to have even coverage throughout. Next up, I'm going to be doing my eyebrows using the Huda Beauty Bomb Brows Microshade Brow Pencil in medium brown, using the spoolie side to obviously brush any product or any moisturizer and stuff like that through, make them look neat, and then I'm using the pencil just to basically define my eyebrows. I generally spend quite a long time doing my eyebrows. That's probably the one thing that takes me the longest, because you'll see, because I'm so precise. And then once I've done that, I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and this is what generally takes the longest bit to basically tidy it up, make my eyebrows look sharper, neater, cover any little baby hairs that may be growing, and then I blend it out so you get a nice sharp even looking eyebrow. And then I'm using the NYX Shadow and Liner Primer ULTIMATTE. This is just an eyeshadow primer to make sure that obviously your eyeshadow doesn't crease. Now I'm going to be going in with my concealer while the primer dries, using the Tarte Shape Tape, which is a full coverage long wearing concealer, which I'm applying quite generously, and then using my beauty blender to blend it all out. Now obviously I have to set the concealer. I'm using Banana Bread, the Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder from Huda Beauty, which is my perfect under eye brightening shade, and I apply it fairly generously under the eyes, leave it for a couple of seconds before I brush it off, and I'm also brushing it over the primer on my eyes in case it's not fully dry, making the entire area above and below super soft even. Next up, I'm using the Huda Beauty Tantour Contour and Bronzer Cream in medium. I'm applying very small strokes to the face, as this shade is actually a bit too dark for me, and I'm just using a contour brush by Sigma to just apply it in various high points of my face that I want to change the shape of before I blend it out. It's very creamy, as you can see. Considering it's quite old, I love the fact that Huda's products last so many years. So I am blending it all out, and then I'm using a beauty blender to diffuse it even more. Using a damp beauty blender with the same powder, you get a thicker amount of powder on the face to tidy up the cream contour, because it's obviously a cream product. And then I'm just brushing it off just so that I can define my cheekbone area a little bit more. Then I'm going to set it using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush bronzer in the shade medium. Very, very lightly, you guys. I'm not applying too much because I've obviously got quite a deep contour going on already. This is just to set the cream product in place so that it doesn't move at all. Then I'm using the same setting powder to then go in to my nose area, because obviously the brush or the sponge itself is actually too thick, just to tidy it up and to sharpen up that area further. And then once I've done that, I'm going to set my entire face using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless in Natural Beige. This basically will just set everything in place, make my skin nice and soft and smooth, before I then follow up with other products later on, but we'll get into that in a minute, because we are now going over to the fun part, which is the eyes. I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz eyeshadow palette, and the first shade that I'm using is called Serenity, and I'm just going backwards and forwards in my crease area, so this is a nice transitional soft shade, just using a M330 brush by Morphe. Then I'm using the same brush and the shade Happiness, which is a blue based pink, because I'm obviously wearing pink. This is just to deepen up my eye definition. And next up, I'm using the shade Aura, and I'm using a smaller brush to go into the outer V, the crease area, and I'm dragging it in. This is to smoke out my eyes only slightly, not too much, because obviously I'm not going for a smoky eye per se. And then I'm using that same blending brush just to blend between the two shades so that there are no harsh lines. The next shade I'm using is Self Love, and I'm applying that to my brow bone area just to highlight. I like to apply this after I've done my eyeshadow, just so that no sparkles kind of get anywhere and it gets in the way. And then I'm using that same blending brush to blend out any harsh lines between the two shades. I'm using that same shadow on the lid now, and I'm just going up to the edge of that deeper shade, because I obviously don't want to cover it up, because I'm going for a slightly smoky look. And then again, using that same brush to blend out any harsh lines between the deeper shade and the shimmery shade. Going back in with Happiness on my lower lash line, just to tie the entire look in all together, going backwards and forwards, making it look nice and smooth. And then I'm using the shade Mantra, and then just to define the eyes a little bit more, because that pink shade is quite pale, and I'm just doing it on half of my eye, again to kind of go in with that cat eye look. Next up, I'm using some glitters by Urban Decay. The first one is the shade Grind, and I'm applying it fairly heavily over the shimmery area. I'm not going into the deeper area on the corner. And then I'm using the shade called Pyro on my tear duct area to brighten and lighten it. Bear in mind, I have layered the glitters about 3-4 times just to make sure that they show up vibrantly. I'm using the Rimmel Kohl Kajal pencil in black to obviously use it on my waterline to make my eyes look a little bit bigger. And this is nice creamy eyeliner, so I use it all the time. Now, obviously, the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid liner. I love this eyeliner because of the fact that you can see I've actually not got back into the tube even once. It's so thick, black and opaque, and you can recover areas that you may have missed as well. I tend to do a medium-ish sort of line, and I wing it out quite a bit, as you can see, because I'm going for that full glam kind of look, and I really want to kind of go for like wow kind of eyes. Next up, I'm using Huda Beauty's Jade eyelashes, false eyelashes. These are long and short, so they're very fluttery, but they're still quite dramatic. Using my latex free lash glue to apply it, which I tend to leave it on the side for about 3-4 minutes, blow it off, and then I use a lash applicator to apply it to the area I want to. Then I use my Tweezerman tweezers just to pull it about in place, stick down the sides to make sure that nothing comes off, and voila, that part of the eyes is done. And to finish off my eyes, I'm using the NYX Control Freak eyebrow gel. I use this last so that it can remove any powder that may be on my eyebrows, and just to finish off basically my brows. And then I'm using the Maybelline Push Up Angel lash mascara because I like to use this. It's thin and long and great to use for the lower lash line, and it doesn't make any kind of mess. Now to finish off the cheeks, I'm using Pool Party Blush Trio by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm using the shade called Pageant, and I'm applying it to the backs of my cheeks as it's a lovely pinky kind of blush. And then to highlight, I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Glow Glide Face Architect Highlighter in Pillow Talk Gold, which is a lovely baby pink sort of highlighter. Applying it to my cheekbone area just to finish off the cheeks, and then I'm applying it to the tip of my nose as well as the bridge of my nose as well as my cupid's bow to basically make my lips look more pouty. To finish off the makeup, I'm using the Maybelline Superstay Vinyl Ink liquid lipstick in the shade called Koi. Make sure that you shake it up, mix it up before you apply it to your lips. I go in again quite generously. This is a brand new lipstick, I just opened it. Look how fresh and lovely the colour looks, amazing. And then the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray to set everything in place. And then voila, the makeup is done. Eid Mubarak, you guys. Love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.